And we are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Israel have just reinstituted the death penalty in Israel since basically the last time that we had the death penalty was the execution of the notorious famous Nazi officer Adolf Eichmann. Israel have come to the point that they have decided that the crime committed by the Nukhba, elite Hamas terrorist organization from Gaza, from Palestine, was equivalent to what the Nazis were doing towards Israel, and it's justifiable by allowing the punishment of death to be reinstituted. Now, I'm going to show you a few videos that are coming from the Knesset that are pro and that are against this, and also share some tweets from some dear friends of mine also that have opinion about it. And then we're going to open it up and talk about it. I still processing it in my head right now as we're speaking. So I'll be very, very honest. We're going to be going through this together. Talking about the pros and the cons. And is it something that can go along the lines with Judeo-Christian values, or is it not? Is it the right decision for Israel, or is it not the death penalty that was just approved by the Knesset? So let's watch it. And there's also a very interesting story, if you stay until the end, about the woman that passed that bill, the woman that you're seeing right now in this picture. There's a very special reason that she was the one that was selected to pass that bill. We'll talk about this as well.
בעד חוק עונש מוות, 62, 48 מתנגדים, נמנע אחד. אני קובעת כי הצעת חוק עונש מוות למחבלים, תשפ"ו 2026, התקבלה בקריאה השנייה והשלישית.
Is Ben Gvir opening a champagne?
והחוק ייכנס לספר החוקים של...
No way. And the Knesset security jumped on him and took the champagne off his hand. Wow, this guy's a character.
מדינת ישראל שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה, עם ישראל חי.
Spoiler alert. So the lady that just said Am Yisrael Chai and read that Israel have just approved the death penalty, she lost her husband to a terrorist attack by terrorists about 20-something years ago in a very, very tragic terrorist attack. And she is part of the Knesset, and she was given the permission to go and pass that bill as they did a voting. And now watch the next video as she's talking to Bibi Netanyahu, and you can see a very interesting interaction between the two. It's very hard to read Bibi in that particular moment. In general, it's very hard to read Bibi, but in this particular moment, it's very interesting, the interaction there.
אני מזמינה את חבר הכנסת, אני רוצה גם להודות לכל השותפים, לך אדוני ראש הממשלה, ואני אעלה גם לברך. אז כן, אני אעלה. כן. אדוני ראש הממשלה, אני רוצה לומר לך באופן אישי שזה דבר שאני לא אשכח לך לעולם. אני יודעת מה זה דרש ממך. תודה רבה.
Wow. Did you guys see that? I don't know if Bibi was supporting this. I don't know if Bibi was against that. He definitely looked like he was not sharing the same excitement like Ben Gvir. And yes, Patricia, I can try to add this one in my live when I'm done. Thank you for that. So it looks like he was going through some kind of internal turmoil. Should he make that? Is that the right decision? Is that not the right decision? Here, watch this again. When she's thanking him, a woman that widowed her husband to a terrorist attack, who just passed the bill for the permission to execute prisoners, basically, inside of Israel. In this case, it's Nukhba terrorists or any other prisoner that they will approve it. But the death penalty, the permission for the death penalty in Israel since Adolf Eichmann, and look at the interaction.
ממך. תודה רבה.
So here's a tweet from a dear friend of mine who also happens to be an Israeli Zionist. He's a lawyer in Israel. He's an American citizen and a man that I highly appreciate. Now watch this. Mr. Kalev Myers is saying this. As an Israeli Zionist lawyer, let me be clear. The death penalty for Palestinians only law is stupid. It should apply to all murderous acts, terrors, regardless of the ethnic affiliation of the perpetrator. I hope and believe it will be struck down by our Supreme Court. Now, that is a very, I feel, logical and also wise way to look at it. And we're going to discuss it further, but I want you to see right now what is the next very known Israeli figure who is standing right now and sharing a very interesting perspective about what we just saw, because there's more than meets the eye about this law, what's behind it, and where is it going to be leading the state of Israel. So let's try to look right now.
כן, אני בעד מוות למחבלים. לא מעט מחבלים הרגתי בשדה הקרב בעצמי. מחבלים ואויבים צריך להרוג בשדה הקרב. ואולי גם אחרי משפט צדק. אבל לא כהטרלה של בן גביר.
Little bit context. Benjamin Gantz is saying that I have killed many terrorists by myself through my career in the military and etc. And he did. The man was a Navy SEAL in the Israeli, I think he was a Navy SEAL. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a Navy SEAL. Let's just double check that. Was Benny Gantz Shayetet 13? Let's ask Cranfield. So he was an elite IDF soldier. He was the commander. No, he was a paratrooper brigade, rose through the ranks of infantry after becoming the brigade commander, division commander, eventually IDF chief of staff. Gantz, he was not part of Shayetet 13. No, that's someone else. Sorry. Gantz was still in an elite paratrooper unit. Back then, the paratroopers were an elite unit, and he was the chief of staff of the IDF. He's saying that he have himself taken the lives of several terrorists through his career, but he have a very interesting point here about what is happening here, because he is not supporting this bill.
הטרלה של בן גביר. לא כמהלך פוליטי, אנטי-יהודי ואנטי-ביטחוני, כי ככה לא מייצרים ביטחון. עוד כשבן גביר היה רק נער גבעות, אני לחמתי נגד מחבלים ואויבים בכל הגזרות. כרמטכ"ל גם תמכתי בהטלת עונש מוות על רוצחי משפחת פוגל ביישוב איתמר. יותר מזה.
I was there in the Itamar when the terrorists came and murdered the family. That was I think that was my first encounter with terrorists. As a young IDF soldier, the first encounter with murder, where I saw another human coming to a peaceful place, entering a house of a family, and murder an entire family with their mother and children. Itamar had two main terrorist attacks. I think Mishpachat Shabo was the first one. But either way, I was there. And it was the first time, I'll tell you this, it was the first time in my life that I wanted to kill someone. I never had that before. Never had that feeling. And the reason was, when we first heard the first gunshot, we realized that there is a Palestinian terrorist right now inside of this community. And then we started running, trying to look where it came from, because, you hear the gunshot, there's a few houses between you to the gunshot, there's a few like forests, it's not easy to pin it down. Then we hear another gunshot, and now we're running closer towards that, And with every gunshot that I heard, I realized he's just that filthy Palestinian terrorist, have just murdered a mother, a daughter, or a baby, just shot and executed him. With every gunshot, another precious Israeli life was cut down from the book of life. And it made me angry. And it made me so upset. I got even scared of myself, because I think after the second gunshot that I heard, or the third one, I literally said, I want to find this human and I want to kill him. I don't know if any of you ever had that feeling where you wanted to kill someone, but I wanted to kill him. I wanted to stop him from killing other people. So the idea of taking life in order to defend or protect people is something that is not foreign to me, to Benny Gantz, and to many others, because we've been there. We've been there and we faced that and we reached. And I remember the rage. I was having such a rage. I could literally probably break a wall or a door just to go and find that monster, because I wanted to take him down. And in the end, we did take him down after a fierce battle. He was trained in Jordan by Jordanian special forces. And he fought until the end. He had ammunition that was armor piercing, was going through walls. He murdered a mother. He walked inside, saw her doing the laundry, shot her in the head, and then ran inside the house and murdered the whole family, including a little girl and a baby brother. The little girl was hiding with the baby under the sink. And he managed to go all the house, found them, and executed them. So that's how evil are these Palestinian terrorists. And that is the law right now that is being pushed. Should it be legal to execute them? Punishment of death by law or not?
בכוונתי גם לתמוך בעתיד בחוק שיסדיר תהליכי העמדה למשפט של מחבלי הנוח'בה, שבצדק נאמר, הם לא כלולים בחוק הזה, ולכן בעיניי החוק הזה הוא לא רק לא חוקתי, הוא לא רק אנטי-יהודי, הוא גם אנטי-ביטחוני, ולמיטב הבנתי הוא בניגוד לשקרים. בחוק הזה ובדגש על הנוסח הזה אין תמיכה של הגופים הביטחוניים והמדיניים הרלוונטיים. הוא חוק רע.
So before we watch the video about the story of that woman that I told you and what happened, what brought her to that day, let's put it down right now, the pros and the cons. Is the punishment of death effective? The answer is absolutely yes. It's very effective in almost every state that they institute that. It does bring down crime. It does bring down severe crime, because humans are humans and they're just afraid of being killed, even if they pretend not to be. Even if they pretend to be tough, I don't know what. Anyone who's drowning in these moments where he's drowning, he's panicking. He is in a complete panic because you don't want to die. It's literally our instinct to want to stay alive. And it's very hard to bring yourself to the moment that you really want to die. And even if you wanted and thought so, but then later on when you're in prison and you're not in the adrenaline, the drugs, a lot of times these terrorists, they take drugs when they go to operations, like, it's called poor man cocaine, which will numb their feelings and will make them like indifferent. They will just literally shoot a baby. They won't kill. Hamas did that on October 7th. It made them very numb and helped them commit the most hideous crimes, including sexual violating crimes against women and underage girls before they executed them. We have testimonies of that actually happened, and it was approved by numerous sources. So the death penalty is, without no doubt, very effective. But then comes the point of the borderline definition of the law that they're saying here, that they're making it approved only for Palestinian terrorists. And Benny Gantz, who is someone that comes from the world of defense and knows what he's talking about, defending state of Israel. He's saying this is not going to be efficient into creating security. This is just going to be a sloppy hill that can later on go to somewhere even worse. And he's saying if we want to have a law, then it should be done in an organized way where we dictate what kind of crime will put you on the stadium that right now we should discuss, should we execute that person, should we not, should we give him the death penalty, or should we give him a sentence for life? And then it can go, but not only for Palestinians. So let's say a Jew or a Druze or a Christian or an atheist or a vegan will go and do something crazy, but he will just get sentenced for life. But meanwhile, if a Palestinian did it, we execute him. And I think that that's right. I think you should not discriminate here. And if that law is there, it needs to be equal towards everyone. Now, then comes the question, is it morally right? Judeo value, Christian values, to execute someone who is not in combat with you? Is that the right thing? And I'm thinking with you guys here. I'm thinking with you guys. What would Jesus do? You know, what would the Bible tell us to do? Is it right? Well, we do know that in the Bible, there were quite a lot of laws about executing people. There used to be times in the Bible that you execute women for adultery by stones, you know. So we do know that these things did exist in the Bible, and there's different level and times where human morality was looked on in different perspectives. But now today, is it something that we should promote or not? Now, to be the devil advocate, and let's give you the picture right now of who are they talking about. The Nukhba terrorists are the Gazans who've entered Israel and plundered, murdered, and forgive my, I don't want to say that word because of censorship, but sexually violated women in such a horrific way before executing, and often even grabbing their phone and using the screen to unlock and then send the video to their family, like literally calling the grandmother and calling the mother and forcing them to watch how they violate their daughter at the Nova party, and then in front of her boyfriend, and then plucking the eyes of the boyfriend. And like, we're talking about the most horrific crimes, which are for some bizarre reason being glorified by many Muslims around the world, and even more bizarre reason by many feminists and activists in the West. But that's the kind of hideous crimes against humanity that the Nukhba guys have done. Now, I know what some are going to say. Yeah, but I didn't know, guys. The IDF didn't do anything even remotely close to that. I was an officer in the IDF. I know the IDF, how it works. And I can tell you for sure that the IDF does not go house to house, murder, behead, and violate women and children. They don't do that. If they wanted, they would have done it. The IDF is capable of doing that to all of the Palestinians. Literally, no one in Palestine have any chance of stopping the IDF from doing to them whatever they want. Not only there, no one in Lebanon, no one in Jordan, no one in Turkey, no one in like nothing. There's literally not a single thing that these countries can do in terms of weapon, technology, military, training superiority that Israel have over them. It's ridiculous how much Israel is stronger than them. And Israel just doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. And I know it for a fact. It doesn't do that. I've been there. So you can't come and put that comparison. That's a silly comparison, and it's usually a waste of time. But we had to waste a bit of oxygen kind of cells here to help you understand. Now let's continue. So we're talking about the worst kind of terrorist in the world. Now, my personal opinion, and someone asked me here, this is my personal opinion. I think fish with aquaphobia. Mansur, what are your personal opinion on this bill? I think that every single one of these terrorists should have been killed in battle. You should not bring, unless you bring them for interrogation, you have reasonable thought that he might lead to some other hostages or terrorists or I don't know what, then yes. Now, some of them might surrender. If you surrender, yes, don't kill him. But best thing, if you can, in combat, just eliminate the enemy. You're just doing a favor to planet Earth. We're talking about very bad people, and you're on the good side. It's okay to know which side you are on. I know people are allergic today. Oh my God, you think you're good? Yes, I know that I'm good, and I know that I'm on the good side. Now, if that person right now is in detention, I personally think that in most cases, it's best to keep him prison for life. Just give him a piece of dry bread once a day and let him listen to SpongeBob music. Well, I don't know, something that will drive him nuts. Like, make his life a miserable hell. Now, when you have a reason to, the crime was, genocidal, the crime was horrific, then yes, I do support. I think it's a good thing, first of all, to get rid of that piece of garbage, send him to his makers, let him make peace with his gods. And also the message that you're sending. Even now, you're starting to see Palestinians are starting to shake. Like, oh my God, no. Even Hamas came with the funniest. Abu Abaida, the new one of Hamas, came with the funniest kind of statement saying that Israel is violating international law by executing innocent civilians. Hamas is saying that. They're literally, while he's saying that, they have Mahmoud Ahmed and Muhammad behind him executing Gazans, right behind him as he's standing here. Israel is committing a crime. But they do that because there is useful idiots in the West that will believe that. So I'd rather die than listen to Bob Spawn. Yeah, all day. Exactly. So I think it is definitely something that is worth talking about. And I think what the problem that people have here, like Benny Gantz and others, is not with the fact of executing these horrific human beings who've done these crimes. It's the fact that the law is discriminating, or at least they're trying to push it, that it's only towards Palestinian terrorists and that puts it in a very, very bad place. And he's saying also, this is not being done out of security reasons, it's done out of revenge and, to show them what and what. And I agree, we should never act out of the will to just pure revenge or just because I want to show. It should be, is it the right thing for Israel to do, and is it not? And if it's the right thing, then let's do it legally and organize in a way. And that's what differentiates us from a lot of the countries around us, that we're capable of doing that. That's, again, guys, I'm thinking out loud with you. The reason I jumped on the show is because I was watching this and I was thinking, what is my opinion about it? Am I pro? Am I against? Am I in the middle? Where am I standing about this? And I'm still trying to figure it out. Someone is saying, yes, it's biblical. The primary role of the government is to punish evil. Also, it doesn't just apply to Palestinians. It would have applied to the 7 Japanese Red Army Lud massacre. All right. Now, someone asked here a very interesting question. I'll try to answer that before we jump back. What is it like being in battle? Is it pure adrenaline when the bullets start flying? Does anyone around you freeze in fear, or do most go on adrenaline? Everybody gets adrenaline. Most will run away and hide. Some will freeze, some will fight. Fight, freeze, or flight. What is it? The first, it's a shock, especially if you haven't been in combat a lot. It's literally a shock to your systems that you've never experienced before, because it's a shock of life and death. And most humans did not face life and death situations. Rarely ever. And even if they did, often they didn't even know that they did, but I'm talking right now, life and death, facing it. There's someone there that wanna eliminate you. It's a shock that usually will traumatize most people. Now, there is people that just don't get traumatized by these things. There is people that naturally, it will just wake them up and wake some inner fighter, inner beast inside, and they will just go into adrenaline beast mode. There is. It's rare, but there is. The rest, it will terrify. And even then, you can actually train. And that's what training comes for. You train to know how to handle it better. You basically want to minimize the element of shock and surprise from like complete awe into just initial shock, and then you just kick in straight. And that's where training comes from. I've seen people freeze. Oh yeah, I've seen warriors freeze, especially when they saw their friend, his head blew up right next to them, like the commander, and they were completely out of it. I've seen a special forces unit actually that they kept fighting, but they basically disengaged and ran out of the fight. And when I saw them, they were full of blood, and I had to interrogate them in the field because I wanted to get to that terrorist and take him down. And I had to really make sure where I know where he is. And I saw them kind of getting out of the combat zone. So as I was talking to them, I realized that their commander was just shot. So I saw people shocked. I saw people freeze. And I saw people also doing courageous things. So it's very hard to know how you're going to react in battle. It's very hard, but it's also you shouldn't judge yourself over it. Because I'm telling you guys, it is for most people, they're going to freeze, they're going to panic, and they're going to probably do things that they'll believe they'll embarrass themselves. But then again, it's an extreme situation. Not everybody is an elite fighter. Not everybody is extremely trained and experienced in these situations. So that's about that. Now, there comes moments where the adrenaline will kick so strong, especially when there's a biological defense mechanism. For example, mothers or fathers for their children. Usually that overrides fear. Usually that will make them just jump in and just do crazy, heroic stuff. And that will defy, sometimes logic. So I've seen that as well. And October 7, we've seen that numerous times by very brave citizens who went and, did mothers. There were mothers there that went and fought until the death to defend their children, took as many terrorists with them as they can. So it is. So, now that's a good point. Someone here made a good point. Mansour, you also have to think about the fact that not having death penalty means having to take care of someone who ended a life. Not only that, but also that person right now stays on your tax-paying administrative, and he's posing some kind of a risk for the rest of his life. So when you eliminate him by the death penalty, you're releasing the load on your prison system, on your taxes, to take care of complete garbage, basically, that went and violated and killed and did horrific things. We're talking about really bad people here. And also you're reducing the risk of, having, right now your staff needing to go and interact with them. So it is. I agree. You know what? In his care forever saying death penalty has objectives, then send a message to not murder. I think intuitively I am pro having the death penalty for terrorists. But it doesn't matter if he's Palestinian or Jordanian or even Israeli. It doesn't matter. If he's a terrorist and he committed a certain level of act of terrorism that will be determined by the law, I am pro. I think it sends a clear message to many other terrorists that it's not worth it. And it does scare people. And also you get rid of them, send them to their makers. I know that from a Christian perspective, that can be sometimes a bit tough because you say everybody can be saved. So with that premises, you can come and say even Hitler, if he would have really repented and prayed when he was in that bunker and really asked for forgiveness, and it was genuine, then most likely God would have forgiven him, and he would have, he would be sitting in heaven right now next to Hitler. I mean, that's like if we're talking theology right now, of Christian theology, or at least, many of the denominations. So you come in and say, but wait, if someone can repent, who are you to take his life? He's not a threat anymore. So yeah, you can bring that argument, but then you can come and say, okay, you're trying to make it biblical. Well, the Bible is full of execution, so let's also remember that God many times gave the order to go and kill very evil people. So that can go both way, that ping pong. So I think that's why you should not try to biblicalize, the rule for now, but mostly try to look at it right now. What's the benefit of such a law? What's the effect? And also, what's the dangers? And that is what's the most important. What is the dangers? What is the possibility of wrongly accused? True. That's why it needs to be like very, very clear. I think with the Nukhba guys, it's easy to not wrongly accuse someone. It's quite clear what they did and who they were. They were just filming themselves. These guys were so stupid that they were literally going around filming themselves committing the most horrific crimes. So, exactly. Someone is saying Yigal Amir, especially Yigal Amir. I can't believe Bibi made his career off Yigal. He needed to condemn him more than he did. He instigated the killing of a prime minister. Yeah. Death penalty, I guess, should probably go also to Yigal Amir. If that's the case, he killed a Israeli prime minister. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. So it is. It's just very interesting. But let's watch the rest of the video here. I told you guys there's the rest of the video here. Just to get an idea who is that woman and what's her story. Let's watch it.
לי היה משהו בחותמת שלו. אהב לאהוב את הבריות. היה לו אהבה לאהוב את
That's
האנשים.
her husband who was murdered.
אני חושבת שהדבר שהכי כבש אותי זה היה טוב לב ואהבת אדם שלא פגשתי כמותה מעולם. אחרי החתונה הגיע לנו מי שצילם את החתונה שלנו וסיפר לנו על יישוב בצפון השומרון ששמו חומש. הוא סיפר את מה שידענו מהתקשורת, ש3 מתושבי היישוב נרצחו במהלך 10 ימים. בפועל אנשים פשוט לא יכולים לשאת את מכת האובדן הזאת, ופשוט אנשים קמים ועוזבים את היישוב. וחשבו איך אנחנו משמרים את היישוב, שהעזיבה לא תהיה גדולה מדי. ומחליטים להקים גרעין דתי. אז עלינו. ואז חומש היה יישוב חילוני, ושולי. היה לו יכולת באמת לראות את החשיבות דווקא של חומש. זה האידיאל, זה הבשורה. חילונים, דתיים, בונים ביחד את ארץ ישראל.
אנחנו פותחים עם פיגוע ירי לפני מספר דקות.
לימור ארמלך איבדה שם את בעלה שולי בפיגוע הירי, סמוך להתנחלות כוכב השחר. לימור נערה.
ראש חודש אלול תשס"ג, שולי.
So, that's the woman that if you saw in the beginning of the video, it's this lady. That's the woman who is calling right now. And when you see her here saying to Bibi, thank you, that's why. Watch it.
48 מתנגדים, נמנע אחד. אני קובעת כי הצעת חוק עונש מוות למחבלים, תשפ"ו 2026, התקבלה בקריאה השנייה והשלישית, והחוק ייכנס לספר החוקים של מדינת ישראל. שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. עם ישראל חי!
Watch now. She's closing a circle here. She is passing the law to execute the lives
אני
of the
מזמינה
man
את
who
חבר
killed her husband.
הכנסת, אני רוצה גם להודות לכל השותפים, לך אדוני ראש הממשלה, ואני אעלה גם לברך. אז כן, אני אעלה. כן. אדוני ראש הממשלה, אני רוצה לומר לך באופן אישי, שזה דבר שאני לא אשכח לך לעולם. אני יודעת מה זה דרש ממך. תודה רבה.
Wow. Wow. So yeah, that's the closing of the circle that we're seeing here. It's a tough one, guys. It's a tough one. And I think it should be a tough one. Should be a tough question. Taking life should never be done lightly. And I'm proud of Israel. And I'm proud of Israel that they're doing that they're not taking it. The picture on the right, someone is asking, that was Eichmann. The picture that you saw, guys, on the right, that's Eichmann. Adolf Eichmann was the Nazi officer that was, notoriously evil and was captured by the Mossad and brought to Israel. And they put the law allowing to execute him in place. It happened. So, by the way, here's the thing: like the war history of death penalty in Israel during the early years from 48 to 54. That was for murder, war crimes, treason, and they were rarely used, but they existed. It's not like they didn't exist. Now, with that, in 62, the only real execution that happened was to Adolf Eichmann, a Nazi Holocaust architect executed by hanging. Only official civilian executed in history in Israel's history. When he's saying civilian, it means that he was not killed in combat. He was not, a tank didn't run him over while he was trying to shoot an RPG, or even run away from the tank and hide so he can shoot again. It was someone that was in Israeli custody, already in handcuffs, in the Israeli jail system, and he was executed. After 62, the de facto abolition death penalty stayed on paper, but almost never requested, never applied. Even severe terrorism cases, life imprisonment instead. In 88, an important detail, a man, Damujunik, was sentenced to death, later overturned and appealed. Reality until recently in Israel, legal death penalty, but practically not used. In 2026, that's when they brought this right now back into the law system. They basically want to go and execute all the Nukhba terrorists, which I would say, yeah, I support that. I support executing every single one of them. Probably I shouldn't say here on TV what do I think needs to be done. But no, I am reading the chat there. I'm reading the chat on Instagram as well, guys. So when you see my face turn there, that's when I'm reading the chat. Convince me, but it's hard a little bit to read all the chats and try to answer. So I try one at a time. So I think the idea here is to send a message. If you want to send a message, you need to go all the way. We're talking about scorched earth, crusaders, Vlad the Impaler style on Hamas. Every single Hamas and Hezbollah should be impaled, in my eyes, and left for the birds of the sky and also for the people to come and see him. And there's many, many ways. That's what I think. I take it in a very direct, practical, cruel, call it, way to deal with the most cruel of humanity. And I've seen the worst, cruelest humans on earth. Most of you haven't. So when I come and I tell you that some of them are extremely evil, and often the only way to stop it is by putting the fear of God in them in a way that they've never witnessed before. You want evil to be afraid of you. It's good. You want evil to fear you. You want evil to run away from you. You want to chase him and crush him down and never relentlessly stop. And it's very clear to see what's evil. But it needs to be done in the most right, justified, moral, legal way. And I'm saying moral, legal way because legal doesn't always have to be moral. Sometimes legal can be very immoral. Nazi Germany had a lot of legal laws that were not moral. So that's why we need to always, to come and to say that will never happen to us is a very, very dangerous thing. So we need to always take these things very, very seriously. Now I'm gonna give attention here to some Instagram because people are asking questions. I live in Canada. I suspect within the next 5 years, all of us Canadian Jews will have to leave Canada. It has become a Marxist Islamist shithole. I agree. Do you believe the law might be deterrent for kidnapping of Israelis? Yes. Alex, I think Alex Zionist Neshama. I think it is. I think it's definitely, we've seen that in statistics in different states in the US where they have the death penalty. It literally brings down crime. I'll tell you even what, Singapore. Anyone here been to Singapore? It's a beautiful country. I've been there. But there's something about this country that is passive aggressive, terrifying. Like you'll go in the airplane and you'll get a brochure that says, "Welcome to Singapore. Enjoy your stay. If you caught selling drugs, you will be executed by hanging. Have fun." And I'm like, what? And they will execute you by hanging if you're selling drugs there. And then I spoke sometimes to, like, a Singaporean lady that was working in the environmental office. And she's like, "Yes, in Singapore, we love tourism, but if someone is get caught with drugs, selling drugs, he will be hanged." And she looked with a smile. And I'm like, okay, hanging. So if someone's selling weed, you will hang him. Yes, we'll hang him. So no one sells weeds there. Here you go. Just no one want to be hanged. No one want to be killed. Want to be, that's the last image of his body, just hanging with his tongue coming out, his eyes rolling, and he's just, convulsing in the air. It is terrifying. The penalty of death, it is terrifying. And it is effective. It is effective against kidnappers. It is effective against sexual predators and etc. So I think, putting it in the right place, it is effective. But with that, you just need to make sure that you have very responsible, very smart people that are the ones that are giving the verdict. Because the moment that it falls into the hand of the mobs or of dimwits, then that society is going to crumble down. That society is going to crumble down. It's going to be a terrible place to be. I don't think Israel is there. I don't think it's there. But that's just about that, guys. Again, I said I want to brainstorm and see an old French invasion guillotine. Yeah. I like the Assassin's Creed image here. So yeah, that's the thoughts that I had about that, guys. I think to summarize it, I'm probably pro the punishment of death for terrorists. Send them to meet their demon-headed goats, virgins in hell. But it needs to be done in a way that is bulletproof and not discriminating towards any religion, color of skin, political preference, and etc. It needs to be very clear what kind of crimes will bring you to that place, and then you should have a legal system that will come and make sure, without no doubt, that this person have committed all these check boxes and he is right now ready to go and be hanged, electrified, guillotine. Let him sit on a bamboo tree like the pirates used to do and just, water it and have it grow through him. I don't know what. Thanks you, Alex. I appreciate that. He's saying, "I pretty much agree with your take, Manso. I really appreciate how much thought you're giving to it. I appreciate that." Like I said, I wanted to come and think with you guys. And there's 63 views and 50 likes for this session. Phoenix, what would I've done without you? 13 cheaters. Yeah, shame on you if you haven't clicked the like and the share, which is a reminder. If you want to help support this channel, go into the like, share, the whole shebang, and help us push this message to go out there, this channel to keep growing. We're doing great, guys. We're doing great. And I'm telling you, there's quite a lot of surprises coming our way. Let me tell you exactly how many subscribers we have so far. We are standing currently on 60,548 subscribers. So we broke the 60 barrier, and my goal is to reach 100 very soon. And my goal is honestly to be able to have a sane voice out there that can go and educate people and counter the lies that we're seeing in mainstream media right now and mainstream podcasting, and also help our children to have some kind of a healthy voices. And it's not only me, it's going to be a lot of people. Hey, I am Mitchell, have joined. Love your post, man. You're doing great, brother. Really appreciate everything you're doing. So to come to the point that we can have the right influence in that void that is called mainstream media, that is right now being filled by very, very foul, evil actors. So that's my goal. My goal is to be able to bring there. And it's not only me, there's also other voices that are very good voices that we need to help bring them up so we can counter these fanatics. But that's about that. What Hamas did on October 7 was very close to what Eichmann did. Exactly, probably even worse. And I'll explain. The only thing that differentiate the Nazis from, let's say, the Palestinians or the Islamic Republic of Iran or Al Qaeda or ISIS is that the Nazis were just better and smarter and less religious stupid and didn't have a lot of cousins marrying each other and bringing children with low IQ. That is the main difference. They shared the same, very similar ideologies. I'm not making this up. They wanted all the gay people killed. They wanted all the Jews killed. They wanted to enslave people. They believed that they were superior. Islam, radical Muslims think that all the world is beneath them and they're superior to them and they should enslave the planet and take taxes from them. The Nazis thought the same, only in a different way. And they were proactively indoctrinating from a young age that it's okay to murder other people, to the point that they literally had no problem to go to a concentration camp and just burn people alive, see another Nazi breaking the head of a baby on a rock like in front of his mom, and he will just walk with a clipboard and then go to his family and sit with his kids and have a picnic. So that's how evil Nazis were. Palestinians have done the same. A young man breaks into Israel, murder Jewish women, families, women and children, call his mom on the phone, Yama, I've killed 10. You'll be proud of me. Let me speak to my uncle. Uncle, ya ammi, let me speak to my father. And everybody, ya habibi, ya aini, I'm so proud of you. Like, what kind of a sick mother will be proud of her child that did that? In Palestine, apparently, there's quite a lot of them. So, yeah, you'll come say not all. I know not all. Of course, not all. But you know what? Not all Nazis were okay with grabbing a baby and smashing his head on a rock. True, right? Most Nazi Germans didn't have the guts to do that and might actually feel very bad if they would have seen it. But they knew what was happening and they were okay with it. They knew, a lot of them knew what was happening in these concentration camps, the most horrific level of human cruelty ever to grace this world. They knew about it. That's the cousins and uncles and grandfathers of some of the people that are still alive in Germany right now. It's called what it is. So that was really evil. Palestinians, they knew exactly what Hamas was doing. They cheered for it. They supported it, and they kept calling Hamas freedom fighters. So this argument, not all Palestinians, doesn't hold water, guys. Doesn't hold water. The majority of the Palestinians support Hamas, support jihad, support radical Islam, and the ones who don't are too afraid to talk, or they just simply stop being Muslims. So now that we put this out there, we can stop discussing this silly topic. Back to our discussion here. Any human who want to kill or violate little children or innocent people is a piece of garbage, and he should be locked in jail behind bars, and at some cases, depends on the severity of the crime, possibly even face the capital punishment of death. Yeah, the guy on the phone was a total demon. I agree completely. But you know what? He was not a one-off in Palestine. Not at all. Not at all. I tell you what, he's not a one-off among many Syrians as well. He's not a one-off among many of the Muslims that are living right now in Europe or in the US. Not one-off. If you guys only knew what people like myself or Phoenix here or other Arabs or Levant, people from the Middle East, Arab speaking, that grew up in this culture, what we know, guys, what we've seen, the mentality that we see, what's behind the surface, what they're saying with their face, with their body language in Arabic when you're not hearing. If you knew what we knew, you would be looking very differently at all of these things. And there would not be a single woke bone left in your body, because you would have seen what truly evil is and what truly is a death cult is. And it is a death cult by definition. So death penalty. Yeah. I just really hope that Israel will do the right thing and not fall for it just because, people are angry and out of revenge, but actually do it out of the right legal kind of system. Why is there someone that think that they don't hate the Yehudis? Like, what is this? Of course they hate the Yehuds. Yeah. Milk Linux. If the Palestinians wanted peace from Israel, they would have got it, but they are too filled with hate. I know some in the US and they're extremists, all of them men and women. There's no doubt by now that if Palestinians wanted peace, they would have got peace a long time ago. And they keep saying they want peace because that's what the West want to hear. But whenever you go deep inside with them, it's actually quite simple to figure it out. It's not an enigma, guys. It's not an enigma. You don't need a special machine or some kind of a Cherokee Indian tribe from far away to come and translate it for you. It's very simple. Whenever you start going down with them, yeah, you want peace? Yes, I'm a peaceful guy. What does peace means in your eyes? Always the peace in their eyes means the destruction and the genocide of the Jewish state. That's not very peaceful, They don't want two-state solution, for example. They say it all the time. No, we want all of Israel from the river to the sea. When they sing from the river to the sea, that's exactly what they mean. It's the most genocidal song. So it is safe to understand that the Palestinians don't want peace. They don't want peace. And the only time they will come to the negotiation table is when Israel is kicking their tuches very hard. And only then, please stop, I want peace. But then they will break it very quickly. Same thing in Lebanon. Now that Israel is going and taking Lebanese land and literally flattening southern Lebanon. And I think Lebanon doesn't really understand. I think people in Lebanon do not understand that they're very close to end up like Gaza. And there's nothing they can do about it unless they wake up and they stop choosing to follow a death cult like Hezbollah, like Iran, like Muslim Brotherhood. When they will stop following a death cult and wanting to destroy Israel, then Israel will not go and destroy them. And even the Houthis, Houthis are the greatest example of what happened when a bunch of religious retards come together with flip-flops and decide, they're saying now they want to march to Israel. Have you seen them? They're swallowing gut, which is like this drug that they like to chew on. So they're always high. That's why they're always like super happy and high, because they're always on drugs. And they're walking with flip-flops and dresses. And they want to come and destroy Israel. And again, bunch of inbreeds, a nation with very low IQ. It's known statistically. And on top of that, they're also religious retards. So yes, I really hope they will try. They will do a favor to all the planet. I used to say that in the beginning. ISIS was doing us all a favor by bringing all the garbage from Western civilization to all go and rally. You just needed to let them come in one place and drop one kaboom on them and take them all out. But They didn't do that. But that was a chance. And now they want to come and march toward Israel. That's great. Let them march, build a zombie apocalypse kind of fortress around Israel. Let them come. Slowly, slowly, you'll dilute them. You will be doing a great favor to the planet by taking down as many jihadists as you can, undoubtedly. If you don't stand behind voices like Manso, we had the narratives people like Fontisi and let them believe that they're on the right side of history. Exactly. Nick Fontisi and others. Girly man? Who's a girly man? I missed it. What are you talking, guys? In his grace forever, in his care forever. Who is calling girly people here, and for what reason? All right, I'll wait for a response. With us Lebanese, there were always idiots that were outcasting people like me and others because I didn't believe in death cult. Yeah. Hey, I know for a fact that Lebanon have among the most beautiful, charming, friendly, kind, smart people out there. Like, they're very intelligent nation. Very intelligent. And I mean, it was a nation that was the prime of the Middle East. They were called the Paris of the Middle East. It was beautiful and still is. But they have succumbed to radical Islamist religious fanatics. And slowly, slowly, they were being dragged into becoming a base of operation for a death cult. Literally. Schools are being taken and made into barracks of weapons to go and murder innocent civilians. Churches are being taken, priests are being killed, executed, and they're making these churches into bases of operation. Islam will take advantage of everything beautiful that the Western civilization have to offer, that Christianity have to offer, in order to destroy it from within and in order to also wear it out. So by hiding behind human shields, they want you to come and kill their children because they know that they don't care. You care. They know that this is a way to wear you out, to tire you. So they want you to come and kill as many children as you can while they're running and hiding behind them. They want you to go and bomb churches because they know that they don't care. It's a win-win for them. You care. It's going to make you angry. It's going to make your nation, torn from inside, from within. What is happening? So they will come and exploit. That's why the only solution to deal with Islam is to stay away from it. The West should detach, stay away from it, and say, sorry, guys, you are very harmful towards yourself. We don't want you with us. The moment that you will stop being devastating to yourself, that you will stop being a death cult, glorifying death and promoting death with the disguise of taqiyya and Sharia law and all these crazy stuff that you guys do, the moment that you jihad, the moment you stop playing these games, then of course, let's be friends. But until then, sorry, stay away from me, stay away from my children, stay away from my citizens. I think that is what Western leaders should be doing right now. And it's a shame. I just seen the video. I don't know if you saw that video. My God, maybe I'll do another live about it, with Giuliani from New York City talking to Piers Morgan. And oh boy, Giuliani gave it to him. But Piers Morgan, for some reason, was like, and that's why I think a lot of times for people it's very hard to take him seriously, because in many aspects, like, he does very good interviews and he asks sometimes very good questions, but every once in a while he will jump and he will do this like devil advocate, I guess, but for genocidal religious fanatics, and he will try to defend them. So he was trying to defend and make it look like there's no Muslim problem, Islamic problem in the UK or in Europe. And I was like, what? Where are you living? Like, how can you even say that? How can you even say that with a straight face? There's no way that any person with half a brain cell cannot see the problem that came. Yeah, Pierce is like Tucker, mercenaries. Yeah, that's, you know what, guys? We're seeing more and more of that. I'm going to finish with that. We're coming to 1 hour and I want to cut it in 1 hour. We're seeing more and more of mainstream podcasters and influencers jumping on the blame the Jew wagon because it's just very successful. it will make their channel grow. It will make them the mainstream thing that everybody is talking about. And part of it to blame is because of Israel and the Jews, because we're so allergic to people wanting to genocide and destroy us. So anytime someone says something stupid, we all jump, no, he's lying. And then you end up giving more publicity. I know I haven't found a better solution right now. To ignore it is probably not better. To counter it, you end up fueling it. So still, it's a battle that is very, very hard to fight. But you see, all these influencers, once they saw Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens do what they did, and weaponize their platform into pure anti-Semitism and blood labeling and endangering Jewish life. They're literally endangering Jewish life by what they're doing. People will get hurt and killed because of them. So once other influencers like Sean Ryan, like Joe Kent, it's not an influencer, but he's becoming now, Nick Fontizzi and others saw that, said, hey, I can do that as well. I can jump and become very famous. And then it became continued. Then you have Sneako and all kind of weirdos. And then you start having more, and Megyn Kelly, you start having more and more influencers and podcasters realizing, and I'm sure there's some kind of PR agent behind it who's telling, listen, guys, that's the hottest thing in the market right now. You want to grow your brand? I'm a branding expert. Let me tell you how. Say bad things about Israel, blame everything about Israel, blame Israel and Epstein, use these code words. Israel did it. Epstein, Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, the Jews, Zionism. Get fixated with that. Do it for 1 month. I promise you, you will move from 5,000 followers to 200,000 followers. 300, a million, more. And it's working. And there's literally no consequences. And what is Phoenix saying here? Mansour, something significant has been happening in the Lebanese-Syrian border in the last 24 hours. You might want to keep an eye on it and share your thoughts. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything yet in the news. I know that Golani and other special forces Israelis are working very intensively right now in Lebanon. Like I said, Lebanon, they don't know what's coming their way. Israel is not playing. Like, serious things are going to happen. And unfortunately, Israel, like, people in Israel understand also that you can't trust the Lebanese government. Just you can't trust them. So we lost our trust in that government to actually be able to do its job. Yeah, I don't see anything, Phoenix, but we'll definitely stay on top of that. I know that the Syrian regime, Assad and his friends, Assad Zolani, have been saying that they want to go and take their vengeance on Hezbollah. But the problem with these guys, you saw how they work. Like, imagine you allow these jihadists of Al-Qaeda and ISIS of the Syrian government to enter the Lebanon. Yes, they will fight Hezbollah. But what do you think is going to happen after? They're going to go and they're going to plunder, violate, destroy, just like they did with the Druze, with the Christians, because they're savages. So it's not, trust me, you don't want them. You want the IDF to invade your country, because they will literally clean your country from terrorists. If any failing country today should wish to have an enemy like the IDF, he calls you. Hey, listen, we're going to bomb this house. Can you please, we know there's 10 people in this house. Please take them all out. They'll even remind you, hey, you forgot your child. Take him out. Like, they're that humanitarian, that good at it. They will go in and they will create the best espionage organization with special forces to go and get all the targets. So they know exactly who they want to take, when they want to take, and then they will take them out in the most deadly precision ever. In the beginning of the war, all 40 top commanders of the Iranian regime, the arch enemy of Israel, just taken like that. Pager operation, most humanitarian counterterrorism on the face of this planet. Pager operation is the most humanitarian counterterrorism on the face of this planet. Happened, bomb, like that. Because I'll explain. If you wanted to destroy right now or take down 3,000 Hezbollah terrorists and you would use the Air Force, then you would literally flatten half of Lebanon. That's the collateral damage that will happen. If you will do that with special forces, you will get so many people killed and injured in the process. And whenever a mission gets complicated, all hell breaks loose and you will get more people killed. And it's just big risk for your guys and for the enemy and everyone around them. Pager operation, button, bomb. Took their schnitzkin out, their fingers, now, and now all their friends see them, and look how embarrassing it was. So yes, there were a few casualties from around, but in the precision that it had for the target that it had, it's insane. So if you're an enemy crazy country, you want Israel to be your enemy because they will come in, they will take out the garbage, and then they will wash the dishes, clean the house, even put everything in the dishwasher, and on the way out, even take the garbage and just put it and sort it out even. That's how efficient Israel in fighting bad guys. So Lebanon, if they want ever to have a chance to be free of radical Islam, Israel is the solution. Let Israel come in and do their job. If you would let Syria come in, they would literally plunder and kill and massacre all your children. If you let other jihadis come in, we see how Muslims are treating other Muslims. Look at Sudan. So it's probably, it's funny to say, but it's some of these very wrong, evil nations, and I'm saying because of not because of the people. There's good people in all these nations, but I'm talking right now the governments, how they work, the corruption, and this. Israel is probably the best thing that can happen to you. Israel is probably the best thing that happened to the Iranian people. Thanks to Israel, they might have a chance right now to reclaim back their country and to kick out radical Islam. Thanks to Israel. And then America joined right now. But let's be honest, Israel and the Mossad were the main ones who were doing it. So every Iranian will tell you that. So that rests my case to my point that Israel is the answer to the problems in the Middle East. But either way, guys, stay safe. Don't do anything stupid in general. Don't do anything that I would do. And also don't forget to do the like, share, subscribe, the whole shebang, and go and check my Patreon where you can find practical, direct way to support the work that I'm doing. And also leave a comment. I'm putting a new banner right now. I have a very dear friend of mine who joined my team right now, and he's helping me. And he thought that it's going to be a great idea to put a new banner behind my YouTube and also change the picture and make it look more professional. So we're going to try that. All right. Until then, guys, stay safe. See you next time.